Terry Morning Show. Sandra Terry, the mindset coach and founder of Manifesting Miracle Makers, rounded up her LinkedIn family once again. First, we've got Brian Smart, Mr. Content and Dadpreneur. He's striking the perfect balance between raising his youngest daughter and creating masterful content. Next, meet Denise Annalise Spiller, the gig expert and relentless traveler and writer. She turns every gig into an adventure. Then there's Jay Pasquale, the storytelling strategist, a poet and voiceover artist. He's weaving tales that'll make you think, laugh, and maybe even change your perspective. And wrapping it up, we have Eric Clark, the soul speaker and author. He's here to soulfully help you craft your story and narrative. Get ready for a show filled with wisdom, inspiration, and the magic of family. Let's welcome Cassandra Terry and the rest of the Fam Five.
Hello. Welcome to 2023. 2024 almost took us back a whole year. We are not going backwards. We are moving forward. Welcome to 2024 and the first edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show, Transformation Tuesday 2024. I think that's a great day for us to start on. Right now, everybody is focused on that you're looking back and taking stock of what 2023 was and what it wasn't. You're making plans for the new year, and in making those plans, there may be some places where you really want to dig deep. You don't want to just have some incidental change, but you want to see real transformation. And that's what we'll be talking about today. What is it? What does it look like? How do you make it happen? What's the difference between transformation and change? I'm sure we'll touch on all of those things as we go through this morning's program. I've got both Jay and Brian with me, so my brothers are still holding me down in 2024. And how about you guys? Happy New Year, guys. I know I've spoken to you, Brian. Jay, we've messaged, but this is my first time seeing you in the new year. So virtual hugs to you and Renee. Why don't I mute and let you guys come off and at least say your New Year's greetings to everybody.
Well, Happy New Year to everybody. It's good to be here on the Cassandra Terry Morning Show in the new year. I just thinking about Transformation Tuesday and about what's happening across the globe. This is the time where everybody's thinking about, new year, new me, right? We've talked about it before. And so um, I'm definitely in that mode. I'm in that mindset, in that mind frame. And we'll soon have the whiteboard go up. I promise.
I love that, Jay. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, Jay Pasquale, the storytelling strategist, Cassandra Terry, the mindset queen, and everyone in the audience. I'm so elated to actually be alive another year and to have everyone in this wonderful audience to share this time with us. It's amazing. It's 2024 and we're still here and we're talking about transformation. This is what transformation is. It's when you look totally different than you did before. I think about changing clothes and I think about transforming. Changing clothes, you're the same person. You just got something different on. But when you transform, nobody recognizes you. And man, 2024 is a complete transformation. It's going to look nothing like 2023. You have to claim it now. You have to be emphatic about making sure that actually comes to fruition. So happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year to you as well. I see the folks are rolling in. John, hey, John, welcome. We did get started a little bit late. I was having some technical difficulties this morning. And that's one thing about 2023, 2024, and every year thereafter, obstacles will arise. Part of the transformation process is being able to keep moving forward, not giving up, not throwing in the towel. Keep working through the obstacles, looking at the solution versus getting mired down in how that problem feels, and just keep pushing ahead. So we started about 10 minutes late this morning because I was having audio problems, and I still sort of am, but we're pushing through it. All the reverb and stuff that was happening when we all came together. And it's strange. I'm back in my office where I've been wanting to be. Last week, when we were wrapping up the new year, I was down at the beach, and connectivity there is never all that great. But we didn't have the problems that I'm having this morning. But what this problem and any problem says to me is, how bad do you really want it? How important is this to you? Is the problem and the emotion associated with the problem, is that bigger than your why to keep pushing forward? Is that bigger than what it's going to take for you to keep doing the work to move through the obstacle and not get stuck and bogged down by the obstacle? So we are here. And the fact that we are here and live, even though it's a little late, answers that question as far as the Cassandra Terry Morning Show and the three of us are concerned. Our why was bigger than any technical issues that were coming our way. And make sure your why is big as well. Make sure you know what your why is, and that it's not just something on the surface. Oh, if I don't show up, people will not like me. That's not what it's about. People do and don't like me already. And whether they like me or not is more a reflection on them and how they process than it is on me. 90% of the time. I'm sure there are some people that throughout, I've been on this planet for 55 years. So in 55 years, I have no doubt that there's people that I have offended in one way or another. Maybe I don't even know about it, so I haven't had a chance to rectify that situation. So there may be people that are harboring bad feelings for me. I can't fix it if I don't know it's there, right? So there's some communication that needs to happen from them so that we can come together. So it can't be just about likes. It can't just be about I want people to see me. It can't be about something that's shallow, because what's going to happen as soon as something that's more interesting comes along, something that's a little bit exciting, that new shiny thing. As soon as that new shiny thing comes along, your attention will follow. Right? I won't be here. So my why has to be more than that. I believe in everything in me that this is a part of why I exist, why I was created, that there are messages that I'm supposed to deliver. And are they so unique that they've never been said before? Absolutely not. There's nothing new under the sun. So somebody else is probably having Transformation Tuesday right now. They're talking about transformation. They're talking about change. They're talking about getting your thoughts together for the new year. All over the world, I'm sure that that's happening. But there's only one person that's going to do it the way I do it. There's only one person that's going to do it the way Jay does it. Only one person that's going to do it the way Brian does it. Even though the three of us come together, we don't say the exact same thing. We're not parroting each other, right? And so think of yourself in the same way. Who's your competition? Your biggest competition is your mindset, because that's the thing that's telling you, oh, the market's too saturated. There's too many coaches out there. There's too many people that already do what I do, and not seeing the opportunity. I don't care if you're in a room of 1,000 people and all of them do exactly what you do. Not a single one of them will do it the way you do it. Not a single one of them will have your unique spin on it. Not a single one of them will have the message packaged the way that you package it, because they will not have walked your walk. They will not have had your life experience. They won't have your personality, your unique way of putting stuff out there. So that first transformation that we need to make right now is in our minds. We have to transform our thinking so that our thinking is telling us and helping us see our uniqueness, helping us see our value, helping us see how special we are and what we bring to the table. Because when that light comes on, it changes everything. Everything. And I'm not talking from theory. I live this. On my job, I work in a high-tech environment. I've worked there for 24 years. I never in a million years, those first few years, thought I would last from year to year. because in the high tech industry, it's the coders, it's the people who are coding and creating that software that are king. Those are the most valuable players right on the team because they're producing what the company actually sells. I'm more overhead. I'm making sure that what they produce is compliant, that we can sell it in different markets, that it meets the requirements and all of that stuff. And so until I realized, as long as I was comparing myself to them, comparison is the thief of joy, guys. As long as I was comparing myself to coders, to software engineers, to developers, I felt really worthless in my environment. I was like, the next time there's a layoff, I know it's going to be me. I always felt that way. I was convinced that it was going to be me. And here, 24 years later, it'll be 24 years in March. I'm still there and still being productive and still adding value to the company. But I had to find what that value was and see it and feel it and know it for myself. And there was just this moment where I realized that they could code a gazillion lines of code. But when it's all packaged together, if it doesn't meet the requirements of the industries that we're going into, if it doesn't meet the expectations of our customers, if we don't want to be on the news, the next company whose data has leaked and you've got all these issues and all this bad press, I'm behind the scenes, me and my team, working with those developers to make sure that we're doing the work, that things are safe and secure as possible, right? And in realizing the value that I brought into that situation, it changed everything. I didn't start going into meetings feeling small and that I shouldn't rock the boat because I'm not the coder. I'm not the one who's most important or most intelligent. Once I found my unique value and I realized what I was bringing to the table and how it added to the company, it changed how I saw myself. So I was able to move differently. I was able to enjoy my experience. I was able to understand why I was promoting and things were still going forward. So nothing changed around me. Nothing at all. Because I was never disrespected in my company. They talked about the value. They asked my opinion. They brought me into the conversation. And I would do what I needed to do. But in that same vein, this tape was playing in my head over and over and over again. You better not mess up. Don't ask too many questions. Don't get them upset. It's only a matter of time before they figure out that you don't know as much as they think you do. I was literally setting myself internally for failure every single day, until I did the inner work to find my own value and to understand what it was. Once I did that, now I walk into those rooms loud and proud, ready to participate, ready to give my point of view, ready to say no when no needs to be said, ready to tell them when I think what they're about to do could be problematic. It was really difficult for me to have those types of conversations before because I didn't see my own value. So I didn't want to rock the boat. I wanted everybody to like me, right? Because maybe if they liked me, they'd keep me around just that much longer. But I wasn't being paid to be liked. I was being paid to provide a point of view. I was being paid to help them see when we might be going down a wrong path that could cause us problems or cause our customers problems, that sort of thing. And that was very difficult for me to do until I found my own voice and my value prop in that situation. So I want to ask you this morning, do you know what your value is? Do you know your value in your family? Do you know your value in your relationships? Do you know your value in your career? Do you know your value in your business, right? And in any place where it's difficult for you to see that immediately and be able to just spit out what that value is a place where there's some inner work that needs to be done. You need to envision yourself being successful, envision yourself showing up as your best self and providing what you need to provide in that space and seeing what that value is and being able to articulate it. It's a mental transformation. It's a mindset shift that will open you up and allow you to show up bigger, take up more space, have your unique point of view, and be able to share it with confidence. It's huge. So I want to encourage you right now, in the beginning of this new year. It's a new day, a new week, a new month, a new quarter, a new year. There's newness all around us. And in that newness is opportunity. But for us to really grasp that opportunity, we need to go inside and do the work to make sure that the mind and the messaging that's coming from our mind, the things that we are saying to ourselves about ourselves, are building us up. They're moving us forward. They're encouraging us. Are you your own best cheerleader? It doesn't mean that you don't see when you mess up. It doesn't mean that you don't see areas where you can improve. It's just the opposite. When you feel good about you, when you can really dig into the areas where you want to improve and work on it, and be open and transparent about it, and not feel like you have to show up as some facade pretending that you have all the answers all the time. Those are the people who feel most likely the worst about themselves. Somebody who's not pliable, not flexible, thinks that they have all the answers. They have worked themselves up into that space because they don't feel good otherwise. They can't take any type of feedback. Those people are hanging on by a thread to their self-esteem. They're hanging on by a thread to find their value and to know what it is and to really know it. It's one thing to say some stuff. It's another thing to feel that stuff. And that's what we want to do in 2024. We want what's coming out of our mouths to align with who we really are and what's going on the inside. So if you hear something come out that's not good, don't bat it away. Spend some time with it. Peel it back. Take a good look at it from all angles. Figure out how you can reframe what you just said so that it's working for you and not against you. Our inner voice, that inner messaging, is in control. It's driving things. And most of the time, we're not even aware of what's going on. That's why it's so important. That's why you hear me say the voice within wins. You have to be intimately aware of that voice and the messaging that it's giving you so that you can change it where it's of a disservice to you. You have to tap in and know where you're holding yourself back. And in 2024, resolve that you're not going to hold yourself back, that you are going to get out of your own way. You're going to play the hand that you've been dealt. You're going to play it to win, and you're going to keep moving forward step by step, decision by decision. You've got clarity. You know what it is you want to accomplish, and you're working towards it every day. You're taking those small steps towards where you want to go instead of just being in reactive mode and reacting to whatever's going on around you. If you don't have that vision, we're going to tell you before the show is up. We've got some stuff going on next week that you need to participate in so that you can get that clarity. You can do the work. You can walk away with a game plan of how you're going to win in 2024 and beyond. So I see quite a few messages have come through. I went on in my little 2024 tangent. I hadn't even thrown up our quote for the day or anything. So I acknowledge that, let's see, MD says, good evening, all of my friends from Bangladesh. Welcome, 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 Indy. Cecilia said, good afternoon from the UK. So we've got India, we have the UK. Brian Bing says, hello from Decatur, Georgia. There is the US representing. Cecilia says, welcome back, Cassandra and Jay. Happy New Year, everyone. LinkedIn user, I think that's John this morning. John, somebody said, absolutely, I stay around for you. Yes, that's definitely John, because I saw his message where he was checking on whether or not we were coming through this morning. And then he said, exactly, then we can learn from them. LinkedIn user, John, vision and visibility are key indicators to taking action. Absolutely. If you don't have the vision and the visibility to what it is that you're trying to accomplish, where it is that you're trying to go, you may be taking action, but is it the right action to move you towards what it is you're trying to accomplish? Are you being busy or are you being productive? Are you doing the things necessary to accomplish the goals that you have for yourself? That's productive. Busy is just busy, doing lots of stuff. We're all busy, but are we all productive? And that's a personal question. You've got to answer that for yourself. Why am I doing what I'm doing right now? Is it a part of my overall plan? Is it moving me towards my goals? Part of your plan is self-care, rest and relaxation, doing things to continue to expand your skill set. So if it falls into that category, then yes, it's moving you towards your goals. But maybe you're spending most of your time supporting other people's dreams, reacting to what other people are bringing forward, and you're busy day in and day out, and you're not making any progress towards the life that you want to build. If that's where you are, you need to rethink that thing, because It's your life. It's the only one you get that we know of. It's the only one you get on this side. So make the most out of it. And you have to decide what the most looks like. Define that for yourself. Get that clarity. See the vision and then start to work towards that vision. Ali, I missed you. You're back. He says, hugs everyone. Jumping in right now. How could I be of service to you? Just having you here, Mr. Wordsmith, master of language. We are glad to have you with us, and your comments will definitely be of service. There is no doubt about that. Ali says, dim your lights and fit in their boxes. That's exactly what we don't want to do. And if you're not careful, you will react to the responses of people around you. And that's exactly what you'll do. So I'm so glad you said that, Ali, because I hadn't mentioned what my word for 2024 is. My word for 2024 is unapologetically. That's how I'm living my life. If my light is too bright, then I'm going to need you to put your sunglasses on or keep pushing, because I'm not going to turn my light down to make somebody else feel comfortable. I'm not going to make myself smaller to fit into your box. I'm going to live the life that God has given me to the fullest that he allows me to live it, based on the dreams and the hopes and the direction that I'm getting from him. And when you're coming from that place, there's nothing small about it. There's nothing dim about it. Your light will so shine, and it will shine brightly. And sometimes that is going to be offensive. That's going to be uncomfortable to other people, especially if they're accustomed to you being, like I was, the people pleaser. When you're a people pleaser, everything that you do is about everybody else. When you actually start to live your life according to what you're supposed to be doing, that's uncomfortable for some. And those relationships will evolve as they evolve. You'll decide if that relationship is of service to you or if it's holding you back. But anyone who pulls you away from your dreams or has issues with you living your life, you really have to evaluate where they're coming from, because that's probably their stuff. It probably has nothing to do with you. So no, we're not going to dim our light, and we're not going to fit into boxes that other people have constructed for us. John said, comparison is a tool that allows for learners how to navigate judgment, bias, and limitations. I love that. I love that. So yeah, you can compare to help you build out your roadmap, but your primary comparison should be to you, to who you were versus who you are versus who you're trying to be. If you can see that progress and that you are growing and progressing towards your goals, that's the real comparison that matters. If I'm trying to compare myself to Jay as a storyteller, I can't be where Jay is. I don't have his background. I haven't worked in the news and entertainment industry. I don't have the history, that rich history that he knows about his heritage. I don't know that much about mine beyond my immediate family, maybe a couple generations back. So there's me trying to compare my how I do it to how he does it is not a fair comparison, because I'm only able to go from what my background is, what my history is, what my experiences have been, and they're so different. And so how I pull together a story versus how he's going to do it is so different. That's why you don't have a story time with Cassandra. That's not my thing. I mean, I talk all the time. I do tell stories, but that's not where my gifting is. And I get that, where this man is naturally gifted in that space. So if I try to compare myself to him, it'd be hard for me to talk. I would just pitch it to him all the time and say, hey, Jay, tell him about this. And in that, dimming my light and not allowing it to shine in the unique way that I'm put together. So comparing yourself to somebody else, it's not a fair comparison, because you don't know their journey. You don't know if you're comparing your day 1 to their year 10 or vice versa. So you don't have enough. All you see is the end result. You don't see all that they've gone through to get there. So it's very difficult to make a fair comparison when you're trying to compare to somebody else. But I can compare to what I did in 2020, 2021, 2023, versus where I'll be 6 months from now. I can see, am I progressing? Am I learning? Am I evolving? Am I getting better? And when I'm doing that comparison, Now I've got something real because I know my history. I know the journey. I know the obstacles that I've had to overcome. I know how they've affected me and those around me. So now I can really compare and see objectively, am I making progress? Am I moving forward or not? And then based on that assessment, I know what adjustments I need to make. But I've got to be able to be real with myself. I have to be able to be honest with myself and do those assessments in a way that allows me to know where there's opportunity for growth and learning. All right. Ollie says, your time, presence, energy, and care are worth more than millions. Right back at you, Ollie. We feel the exact same way. Michael, good morning, Michael. Happy Transformation Tuesday. Fam 5. I think it's John saying, Linda P, love the word America. I am Erica and I can. How cool is that? I love that. All right, Dr. Marcia, happy 2024. She says, good morning, everyone. May 2024 be your year of abundant joy, happiness, and peace. And we reflect that right back to you, Dr. Marcia. Ollie, my value is to put my brain and my heart to human beings' family while I can still breathe this earth oxygen. Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you know that's your values, that's what's important to you, Ollie. When you're making decisions about where you're going to spend your time, you're probably making it with people, with the people who are important to you, instead of doing things that isolate you and keep you away from people, because that would be anti your value system, right? And so it helps you to make good decisions. There may be an opportunity that comes along, but it has you for 3 or 4 months isolated away from the people that you love, and there may be something about it that's attractive, but when you look at it from the perspective of your value system, then maybe all of a sudden it doesn't make so much sense. So aligning and testing the opportunities that come your way against your value system will help you make good decisions for yourself and not get you excited in the moment about this new shiny thing without really looking at it. So love that, Ollie. Dr. Marcia says, good morning, Cassandra, Jay, Eric, Brian, wishing all of God's gifts and more in 2024. Good morning, Dr. Marcia. Thank you so much for being with us. John said, facades do cause burnout and bore out. Absolutely. When you're showing up as anything other than who you really are, it's exhausting. It is exhausting to keep that act going. Find the value in who you really are and show up as the best version of you is the best thing that you can do for yourself and for the world. We get to know who you really are. People make assessments based on who you really are, and you're going to attract the people who are a part of your journey. They will either be a part of cheering you on, they may add to your purpose and to the projects that you have going on, but you'll attract the right people. If you've got this mask on and showing up as a different version of yourself, you're going to have to keep it on for the people that you've drawn, because that's what they were attracted to, and that's not the real you. Talk about being exhausted and burned out and bored. That's a lot of work, where you could be putting that work in the continual evolution of the best version of you. That's when the time is not wasted. John says, always play to win. Intimacy is powerful in connecting to purpose and intent. Absolutely. Let me take a moment, because we're well in, and I will share our thought for the day. And the quote comes from Tony Robbins. It is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. What does that mean? What does that mean? It likens back to, are you busy or are you productive? For sure. Because those decisions that you're making, are you choosing to do things, or are you choosing to do the things that align with your values, align with your goals, and are helping you move forward? Those decisions shape your destiny, right? How are you spending your time? What are you focused on? How are you expending those precious resources that have been gifted to you? Are you using them to help create the life that you so desperately want? Or are you so busy just juggling all the things that folks are throwing at you that you don't even have an opportunity to really think about what you want? Both people in that scenario are doing a lot of stuff, but only one of them is doing the stuff that's going to get them to move towards the life that they desire. Let that be you. Don't be so busy juggling everybody else's stuff that you forget to live and create your life. In doing that and putting your mask on first and making sure that you are in good shape, you're able to help just that many more people. It's not selfish. It's selfless. It sets you up to be able to do more for more. So decisions that you make are shaping the destiny that you desire. So it is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. There's a couple of comments that have come in, and then Brian, I'm going to pitch it over to you. Let's see. Ollie says productivity is our own metrics. Choose your own productivity messages. Don't let the world define in you what it is. Absolutely. And then my beautiful Aunt Karen just showed up saying good morning, happy New Year's. Same to you. I see her joining from Facebook. So we've got Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. And I've got it. I need to jump over and check on the Instagram crowd too. Let's see. We are Weeracles. So, that's Ollie J. So instead of miracles, Weeracles. I love that because we are meant to be in relationship. And in relationship, we can do so much more than what we can on our own. What you see on the screen, the three of us, is a powerful relationship. And I was doing this for months and months and months, maybe a year, I don't even know, before the Fam 5 showed up. And I'm so much more at peace and at home and feel supported. And it's not just me. It makes a difference in having the collective. You can just do so much more. Cecilia says, yes, Cassandra, speak up, girl. Some of us with too much vision find it hard to sustain our goals and take relevant actions to accomplish our goals. We need to find a way to tailor our roles relatively. Thanks, Cassandra, for breaking the ice for me. You are absolutely welcome, Cecilia, and I love, love, love that share, and I'm glad that something I said resonated with you. Ollie says, I have a tree of words to bloom and blossom. So he is blooming and blossoming a tree of kindness, joy, boundaries, repent, and simplicity. Love that. Let's see. John Labarty says, you took down your profile pic. If I did, it wasn't on purpose. Erica said that at Erica Harris. That's the America I can. I love that. We-neek. We are all we-neek. Jay, can you guess who that is? That's Ollie at his best. So not unique, but we-neek. And looking at the collective once again, I love that. Cecilia says, value of oneself is an important tool to have. It allows you to be real without comparison to others. Exactly. It is really hard when you already don't feel good internally about who you are. It's really hard to manage a mistake. It's really hard to manage when things don't unfold the way that you anticipated, because you're taking that on as a personal failure, as something that's wrong with you, instead of really seeing it as a learning opportunity to integrate what you get from that into what you do next and to keep evolving. So yeah, that value of self allows us to make the best out of all these situations that we're in. Looking forward for the replay and comments. I think that's John. Ollie says, your storytelling is unique, Cassandra. Your vibe and storytelling is amazing. It's you also. I love your vibe. Thank you, Ollie. With a support system like that, what else does a girl need, right? He said, I would sound ridiculous if I tried to speak as you do, Cassandra. Same. If I tried to create those wonderful words that you do that really punctuate something that we're talking about, I would be all over the place. So yes, we are all unique and we all show up and bring value in our own way. And when you can see that and own that, it changes how you show up in the world. Joan says, Happy New Year from Chicago. Constant learning keeps you young. Absolutely. Dr. Gwendolyn, Happy New Year. Okay, so LinkedIn user says, at Cassandra, these comments are mine, not John's. So the first LinkedIn user was John. So whoever wrote that, you'll have to also say who you are, because all I see is LinkedIn user. Ollie, decision. Oh, like incision. Cut through. Make a line in the sand, cutting and separating what is not useful and bringing you joy and energy, letting them go. And keeping that brings you joy and meaning. Awesome. Cecilia, so true, Cassandra. Change is constant. So I think here at LinkedIn we have trialed our approach parallel to the people in our circles. Hence, we're always here showing up for these events. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Ali, can't wait to show my light on your screen in 2024. And then we Neek is powerful community from Erica Harris. Okay, so now I know who the LinkedIn user is. That is Erica. Thank you for all of your comments. I apologize for associating them with John. I saw him earlier as LinkedIn user. Aromatic Visions LLC. That's my mom, y'all. She says, "Good morning. I was on LinkedIn, but I don't think you could see me." Well, I see you now, mother. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I am going to you guys are active this morning. I think they were ready for 2024. I cannot wait. I hope you all are as excited about your future and what 2024 is going to bring to you as I am. If this is the kind of energy that you're going to be putting out for me and the Fam 5, make sure that you're doing at least that much for you and for your dreams. If you show up for yourself the way you're showing up for us right now, you will have a fantastic 2024. And don't you deserve that? Absolutely. Know that you deserve it. Know that you're capable of having it. And put this kind of love and light and energy into you and what you're doing. And you will have a magical year. All right. My mom says, "Good morning." She said, "You missed all of my comments." I'm sorry, Mom. Nope. I was not seeing your comments on LinkedIn. And I don't know if you were I don't know if Jay and Brian are live on LinkedIn as well. Are you guys streaming to your LinkedIn profiles? Yeah. So you could have been on their pages and instead of mine. And sometimes I don't see the comments on the other pages. I just see the ones that are coming through from my page. So who knows? But you are here now, seeing us from Facebook. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am always glad to have my mommy with me. So with that, I'm going to read the quote one more time. And Brian, I'm going to mute, you unmute, and let us know what this brings to you. It is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. Tony Robbins. All right, over to you, Brian.
Hey, thanks, Cassandra. You know, man, there's so many thoughts running through my mind right now. Most of which relate to the fact that my transformation this morning was my daughter turning me into a pretzel around 6:15. So I was all excited. I was ready. I had my fireside chat sweater ready to go. I had my computer already lined up, synced into the StreamYard link. And about 6:15 this morning, she said, "Nah, Dad, you know, school starting back." And she's not saying this physically, but I know this is what she's saying. School starting back. I'm trying to enjoy every moment I can with you, like we did before we started school. So she wrapped a arm around me. She took one of my arms and put it behind her head. And next thing I know, man, I could barely move. But what I realized in that moment was my value, right? I did not get disrupted. I did not get discouraged. The only thing that happened at that moment was, I have a decision to make now. Either I can get up, I can get on camera for 15, 20 minutes, and everyone will see my face, or I could stay here, right here with my youngest daughter, and we could spend these last few days together before school starts back, and ultimately before she turns into an adult, because that's what happens. And I made that decision to stay right here because, again, I'm the dadpreneur, right? This is what I am doing. I am shaking up the business world. I'm shaking up the entrepreneurial world by normalizing being a parent first. And I made that decision. But the reason that that decision was okay with me was because I know my value. The reason I know my value is because I have a plan. You said it a few minutes ago, Cassandra. When you know where you're going, when you know who you are, you are able to go into these spaces and these places, and you can go in with your head high. Did I feel bad that I didn't show up like I wanted to today? Absolutely not. I'm being a dad. That's what's first for me. I have a vision. I have a plan that 20 years from now, these kids are going to remember all of the things that I did, all of the ways that I moved my life around to make their life better, and they're going to be there doing the things that I saw them doing. Is that taking care of me? I sure hope not. I hope 20 years from now I can still take care of myself, move around and do the things I want to do. But does it mean that they have that confidence? They have that assuredness. They have that drive because they saw the things that their dad did. I sure hope so. I hope that they learn from what I'm doing now to have a plan, make a plan, have a definite objective, know what you want. When you're able to do that, you're able to go into anywhere and feel good about who you are. And I'm gonna leave everyone with a little analogy. So I used to be a big car guy. I still like cars, but not as much. I used to take engines out and rebuild them and just do all kind of crazy things to cars. And it used to always occur to me that every single part of that car is important to make that car go. I don't care what anybody tells you. You need everything in that car. You need every bolt. You need every screw. You need every attachment to make it go the way you want it to go. Right? No one part of that car is greater than the other. Cassandra, this is something you used to talk about all the time. We are greater as a whole than individually as parts, right? This is what you have to remember when you go into these places. You said that about IBM earlier, about how when you look at the coders and the programmers and this, that, and the other, you're thinking these are the most important guys. Well, I'm that coder, I'm that programmer. And guess what I used to say? Well, the people that can sell this product are the most important people on the team, right? And the truth of the matter is we're all just as important. Nothing happens without the product. Nothing happens if the product isn't sold. Nothing happens if the money isn't coming in. And it's the same thing with a car. Are you able to drive your car if you don't have a steering wheel? Nah, that steering wheel is just as important as the engine or the transmission. You're not going anywhere, right? And it's the exact same thing in this life that we're living. Each of us is unique and valuable. But in order for that to work out for us, we have to believe in ourselves. The way you believe in yourself is by making a plan. This is what 2024 has got to be for everyone. Make a plan for not just, today or tomorrow, plan out the next 10 years. What do you want to do in the next 10 years? Make a plan for those 10 years, and you will find more value in yourself than you ever knew you had. I'll leave it there, Cassandra.
Love it, love it, love it. And I love the car analogy. My brain was just running wild because it really does tie to the how I was feeling. So just imagine your car. If you're the steering wheel, then you're pretty important as I'm driving down the street. So maybe the horn, I'm not even thinking about it. If I was in India, that'd be different. My friend in India, when we were there, he says we use the horn more than we use the brakes. I have never heard so many horns in my life. My husband said he was going to open up a horn repair store if we ever moved to India. But if you're the horn and you're not used that often, you may feel like you're not as important. But what happens when that kid runs across the street? Now all of a sudden you hit the horn, you raise attention, you hit the brakes, you slow the car down, you keep an accident from happening. Nobody thinks about the lights during the day. But as soon as it's dark, now all of a sudden the lights are so very important. Windshield wipers, who cares? I don't know if they're working or not. But as soon as it starts to rain, right? Now all of a sudden you need every piece. The things that we think about as no big deal, there are points in time where they are the biggest deal. And so know your role, know your value, know who you are in your spaces, and be able to attest to the value that that thing brings. All of a sudden the horn is important. All of a sudden we need those windshield wipers, those wipes, everything has a role to play in the efficiency and the working of that thing the way it's supposed to be. And we get bogged down when we're a horn because we're so focused on the steering wheel, right? I wish they grabbed me every day and held on to me and used me to get where they're going. They're going to use you to get where they're going safely when it's necessary. You have a role, you have value, you're important. But you have to see it. It's not enough for me to see it. It's not enough because people saw my value. They talked about it. I got promoted. I received raises, and I was invited in to speak at events and things on the job. And every time that happened, I would wonder why. Wonder. I was baffled. I really thought that they saw something that wasn't there. I really believed that. And it took me finding myself, being able to see the value that I bring into the collective that changed it all. And so if you haven't done that work, reach out. Let's get that work done. Find your value. Get in touch with that inner voice. Make sure that what's coming out is affirming and uplifting and motivating you to keep moving towards the things that you desire, because that thing is so very important. It will shut you down. Your inner voice will talk you out of trying things. Oh, women don't do that. Don't see any people of color in there. I'm not tall enough to stand with this group. You the craziest stuff. Girl, who do you know from a small town in Texas who's ever shown up in India? I know me. My beginning didn't say that I would be able to travel the world. My beginning didn't say I was going to see a lot of the things that I've seen and do a lot of the things that I've done. I was having a conversation with my son last night. He's 20, and he made a real bonehead decision and made some stuff harder for himself than it needed to be. And we were talking through it. And I was saying to him, I can't even explain to you how different your life is than mine. And because your life is so different, there's things that you take for granted that I would have loved to have. There are things that you just expect to be there that I never expected. I knew I was going to have to roll up my sleeves. I knew I was going to have to work hard. I couldn't call and go, hey, Mom, can you transfer money for me to do DoorDash? They just take it for granted because it's all that they know. But I did learn that I overcompensated because there were so many things that I wanted that I didn't have as a young person. As I got older, I had that mindset of my kids aren't going to go through what I went through. My kids are never going to know what it is to want. And to a certain extent, that's cool. That's great that they're in a stable environment. But there's some work ethic that I have. There's some get your butt up and dust yourself off and get to work so you can figure out how that I have, that it's really hard for people who've never had to struggle to understand. It's really hard for me to explain to him what some of this stuff is all about, because before he's wanted, it's appeared. And that's on me. That's on me, because that was me learning and growing as a young parent and figuring out things for myself. Some stuff I did well. Such a good person. Such a loving person. There's some things I see in him and I was like, oh, I'm so proud. But then there's some struggles that he has because I overcompensated for some things that he could have learned how to show up and fight for what you want, how to really get stuff done instead of just knowing that it's going to be there. It's a different mindset when you have that expectation of mama's got it, daddy's got it. What about you figuring out how to get it for yourself? We have to create environments. And sometimes our helping is not really helping. Not even just with your kids, with your support system. If you've got people in your life that have made you a portion of their survival, they're adults, and they depend on you consistently for their survival, then there's probably some skills that they're not learning because they're allowing you or expecting you to be their problem solver. There is nothing more beautiful, nothing more empowering than figuring out how to take care of things for yourself. So sometimes our helping is in our saying no, but I'll show you how. I won't do this for you. I won't give you this, but I can show you how. I'm willing to help in that way, not in the way that you're asking. And the response that you get is probably not going to be it's probably not going to be a positive one in the beginning because they're used to you doing. But sometimes in our doing, we create dependencies that people don't need to have. And sometimes we get used to being who they are dependent on, and that becomes a part of our identity. And that makes us feel good. But in you feeling good and doing, you may be undermining someone else's growth and development. So sometimes we have to get out of folks' way, let them stumble a little bit so they can figure out on their own how to get their footing. And now they've got that skill forever. They'll know what it's like to stumble and get back up and keep going. And again, I'm just talking from, it may not apply to you, but I have overly helped in a lot in my life, and it wasn't always helpful. It may have temporarily taken care of an issue, but it created a longer term issue because the skills that needed to be developed so that they didn't keep going through the same cycles, they missed those skills because instead of learning, they were leaning. If you find people leaning too much on you, if you find yourself leaning too much on others, there's probably some learning that you need to do so that you are able to stand and feel good within yourself, that you can take care of yourself. And I'm an advocate for being supportive. I believe in helping. And so it's not about that. But there's a point to where it crosses a line where you're no longer helping and you've created a problem for you and for the other person. They may not see it as a problem because they see you as fixing their problems. But if they've got to depend on you, there's a problem. There is a problem. So we've got quite a few comments that have come in. So Jay, you get ready. I know you're going to bring that word. And we're going to be bringing it over to you in just a moment. Lots of comments. Let me see. Let's see. I don't think I read. So, this was Ollie when my mom was talking. He was just saying that's why I'm on YouTube now. LinkedIn is a bit buggy. And then Erica says, in the moments before a decision that shapes destiny, direction, not destiny. Destiny as an undisclosed location. I love that. I love that. We have some of the most brilliant people to show up in this space. And I'm so glad that you guys share your brilliance because we all get better in that sharing. It's not like the three of us think we have all the answers. We are just as keyed in and excited about what you guys are going to share every day because we're learning and y'all are pouring into us as well. And it is much appreciated. Cecilia said, hey, Brian, you are welcome too. Ollie, hugs to you, Brian. You decide what's best for you. Your voice matters and you are free to express or not. I feel very blessed to hear from you. Cecilia says, having a great relationship with the people closest to you is a privilege. And Brian, it's great that you're taking time out for them. It helps you break out from toxic environments and stay focused to make positive changes in your life. Absolutely. And then my mom says, amazingly verbalized, Brian. Ollie, love it. Plan for 2024. Plan and plant joy. Cecilia says, I am planning to retire early and delve into the unknown. I love that. I love that. Ollie, toot your own horn. Toot, toot. Toot your own horn. Yes. I think this is Cecilia. The horn analogy is great. Make noise so you stay the course. Yes. Great Transformation Tuesday on the second day of 2024 at Cassandra Terry and team and audience. Dwayne, hello Dwayne. He says, Happy New Year. Let's see. Reflection is important when raising children. Nurture nature from Erica Harris. Absolutely. Happy New Year, good people. Wishing a year of amazing transformation. Same to you, Erica. Thank you so much. Ollie, yes, it's because it's about their brain, not yours. Cecilia said, that's my son right there. Thanks for this, Cassandra. We'll try this out on my son and let you know how it goes. Listen, parents. We have to support each other through this journey. You know, my baby is 20 now. And you hear me still so easily say my baby because he is the last of the Mohicans. No more kiddos. I've moved into the grandparent space. But we have to be transparent, talk about the things that come up. I'm not going to go into great detail because that's his, that's his story to tell. But I can talk about how it affects me and how I contributed to it. And in doing that, find some synergy with Cecilia. And maybe we get in the DMs and we share, how things are going, and we talk about things more openly when it's one-on-one. That's what showing up and telling your story will allow you to do. You never know where your support's going to come from. You never know who you may say something to that may give them just the idea that they need to keep going, to move forward. So yes, Cecilia, definitely let me know how it goes. Dr. Marcia, one should strive to help in a way that minimizes harm and dependency and maximize independent impact. Absolutely. She said what took me 14 sentences. She said really succinctly in one. And that's what I mean. There's a point where you're helping is creating this dependency. It's taking away from the person's independence and they're growing. And believe it or not, they start to resent you anyway. They resent the fact that they have to come to you and ask, even though that's what they do because they don't feel like they have any other choice. But it really, really damages relationships. And sometimes we don't even realize that that damage has been created until something blows up. But one should strive. Let me put this one up here. One should strive to help in a way that minimizes harm. Do not let your helping be detrimental to someone. And dependency. Don't become a part of their daily survival, their weekly survival, whatever the case may be. Teach a man to fish. It's nice for me to show up and I've got it all plated and it smells good and it's pretty. You've got one meal. But if I teach you to fish, you can eat for the rest of your life. So I don't want you to be dependent on me. Not because I don't want to help, not because I'm seeing it as a burden, because I am intelligent enough to know that I am creating a dependency, that I am creating more harm than I am creating good. Thank you for that, Dr. Marcia. And then Erica says, Dr. Marcia Powell, powerful guidance. Dr. Marcia loved this. That was from Erica Harris. Every day, right, Erica? That's just what she does. She can't even help herself. She drops those nuggets and shares that power every day. All right, Jay. So it is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. Tony Robbins. Over to you, Jay. What comes up for you?
A ton of stuff actually, and you said a lot. There's so many things that I want to touch on, but let's start with the word. Let's go to Luke chapter 14, verse 28. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? And so this is basically the verse is suggesting that one should take the time to carefully assess and calculate the costs involved, right? So the tower as a metaphor could represent various aspects of your life, personal goals, relationships, spiritual journeys, whatever it is. The underlying message applies to both spiritual and practical aspects of life, right? So it's urging individuals, people to be wise and consider their decisions, their resources, right? Commitment, reminding people of the importance of thoughtful planning and foresight in order to avoid potential problems, setbacks, things like that. And here we are, you know, this is day two of 2024. And so this verse, I think, really stands out to me to make sure that we are going to plan for what's ahead. And, you know, understanding our story, where we come from and where we're headed. We talked about it before, right? There's that directory in the mall or maybe in the airport, you are here. Well, where are you headed to? Right? These fixed points that you were talking about, Cassandra, A to B. And I think those points are important to understand. And I love the analogy of the car, um, because it allows you to get from point A to point B. But consider this, right? And my wife is gonna she she hates this analogy because it sounds so corny. Um, but so what I say is your car is your life, and the battery are your life experiences. And if you're asking me how so, if you look at the battery has a negative and a positive post. And if you take off the negative side and only have the positive side in your life, and that's it, and you try to crank up that car, guess what? It's not going to crank up because all you got is that positive post on there. Or you put the negative on and you're always negative. Things are always negative. It's never going to work. Things are going to be, try to crank up that car. It's not going to work. But your life experiences have to have both the positive and the negative together. That battery allows that car to move forward in your journey. These are your life experiences. That's the battery, right? You have to have both negative and positive to be able to move forward. And so that's what I look at. When I first met my wife, that's I use that analogy because we were trying to figure out our relationship and where we were headed and negatives and positives and in that. And so I brought that up. And we laughed. Um, and I bring it up every once in a while just to kind of tease her, but I still truly believe in it. The other thing that I was thinking about was Tony Robbins himself. Um, this guy's been around forever, it seems like, right? Well, the reason it's so is the dude started out in this business when he was 17. And I was like, even when I was younger, I was like, "Who's this dude? He's a baby face. He's a kid." He's 63 years old now, but he started out when he was 17, right? So how could we how could we live through him and his experiences if we, and I'm thinking about the older people at the time. He had a gimmick though, fire walking. He was like one of the first people to do this stuff, the fire walking. And and so the thing about it is, if and I'm going back to experiences, right? Um unless you've had these experiences, right? You can't force this. You can't force time. You can't force all these things that would occur in your life to happen all at one time. You can't do that. You have to gain these experiences, the knowledge, the foresight, all of those things as a result of living your life. Um, and so to me, we have to understand now that we have all these experiences, take the time, sit down, plan it out. Here's where we're going to go. Here's how we're going to head into the next year and how we're going to get through the next year or thrive in the next year or exceed our expectations and our goals in the next year. And I think this is extremely important to understand as we consider what's coming up in 2024. You know, going back to listening to the verse, won't you first sit down and estimate the cost? So, what is the cost going to be for you this year? And if that means we're going to sit down and we're going to plan an event that's going to impact 1,000 people, or are we going to sit down and plan a vacation for the family for all 24 members of the family to go to? What are the things that you want to do in 2024? And lastly, transformation. When you were talking about what is your word for um, 2024, you said unapologetic. And I totally agree. I walked into an audio event the other day and the person said, I don't think there's many people on LinkedIn who are authentic because one day I see on their profile they're this, and then the next day they're this. And I'm like, okay, what's your point? I felt almost attacked, like personally, because yeah, my profile has changed maybe a couple of times, but that's evolution. Wait, oh, wait a minute. I didn't say my word is not evolution. My word is transformation in 2024, right? Evolution, it's time over time. These are things that are going to happen, but it's something external, right? That's evolution. Transformation is I'm taking control. This is what's going to happen. It's going to be different. Something's going to change. Transformation is going to happen for me. So that's what I'm thinking about. So when this person was talking about the profile changing, I've been working towards transforming myself and my business and my journey. And if you're going to call me out on it, so be it. So be it. So I'm going to be unapologetic and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to change. And if I'm going to change, what's the problem? And if it's for the better, I'm going to be unapologetic about it. And you know, the the other thing that I want to say about that is what kids would normally say. Come for me, bro. um, because I really I'm not going to not transform, to change for the better because somebody thinks, "Oh, you're just changing because of this or that or whatever." You don't know me. Come to the audio events. Listen to the audio events. You'll see that my story hasn't changed. There's a consistency. So, consistency, experiences, planning, these are the things that you should look forward to in 2024 and transformation.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you, Jay. Lots of comments for rolling in. And the one thing that I'll say when people show up in these spaces and they're passing judgment based on some small portion that they've seen, I don't have anything to prove to you. If my change is difficult for you, that's your own internal processing that you have to deal with. But you don't get to sit in judgment of my life and determine whether or not I'm authentic. My authenticity, who I am, how I just we're just not going to allow anybody else to write our narrative. You own the pen. You're the author of your life. The ultimate author is God. But he gave us a pen. And that pen comes through those choices that we're making, the decisions that we're making, how we're showing up. But I'm not going to be reactionary to somebody else's judgment. I've got my own path to walk. It's uniquely mine. It's divinely lit. And I'm following it step by step to the best of my ability. When I stumble, I'm grateful that I've got a community that helps me get back up and get back on track, right? But the judgments that people throw out, what you think of me really ain't none of my business. I've heard people say that for years, and I just said, as a people pleaser, that doesn't make sense. Of course it's my business because I want everybody to like me. And I do. I want to show up in a way that is pleasing and helps. But there are some people that are not going to like me. It took me a long time to make peace with that. And it has nothing to do with me. Just me being who I am and how I am is not going to sit well with some. And I can't take that on. That's their stuff to deal with. I've got to keep moving in my purpose and do the best I can to do as little harm, like Dr. Marcia said, as possible, and be as helpful and supportive as possible. But my real purpose was divinely scripted, and it's my job to do that job. And if I lose some folks along the way, I can't get distracted by that because I've got a purpose. And everybody is not a part of the entire journey. That's hard. That's hard. Some of the things that we need to do, like as business people, defining your ideal client, so hard for me because I want what I say to be something that's helpful to anybody. I didn't want to narrow it down, but in being forced to do so, to figure some things out, it changed how I showed up, what I was talking about, because I started to see, even through the analytics, if I look at who shows up, it's a real clear demographic of age and gender and all this kind of stuff, and I can see who shows up the most. So I need to talk to that person. And that was hard for me because I just want to be all inclusive, and I can be to a certain extent, but when I'm creating, I have to know who I'm creating for, who's likely to consume it, so that I'm trying to meet their needs. And so life is interesting like that, but I'm not going to get stuck in other people's opinion of me. If they've got something constructive where I can see a place where I can improve, that's awesome. That's awesome, because now I may have a blind spot, and there may be something in how I'm showing up that I don't even realize is detrimental. And somebody loved me through it and showed that to me so I can get better. That's different than just these general, people on LinkedIn, this, that, and the other. You're doing it now in your very post. You're doing what you're accusing people of by the tone of your post. So I don't even, I probably wouldn't even finish reading that thing. So let's see what our audience has to say. We've got quite a few comments, and then we will go ahead and wrap up for today. Erica, I hope you're back on a regular basis, because, man, you are dropping gems. She said, calculated risk are fundamental to influence and impact of all statuses, from Erica Harris. I learned assessment late in my journey because I believed ignorance was bliss. How many times have we heard that ignorance is bliss? Well, yeah. I mean, I may be dancing in the middle of the street in the dark, having the time of my life, ignorant to the fact that this car is coming and it's just a few feet from running me over. I need to know that. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is vulnerable. Ignorance puts you in a position to make bad decisions because you haven't done that calculation that Jay was just talking about. No. But there's so many things like that. They roll off the tongue. They sound good. They've been said for years, and we just pick them up and run with them. But no, I'd much rather operate from a place of intelligence than a place of ignorance. Where I am ignorant, because there are places where all ignorance means is I don't know. It's not even an insult to be ignorant of something. It just means there's something that you haven't learned yet. So when I find places where I'm ignorant, and if it's something that I'm interested in, I can learn. I can dig in there and erase that ignorance. But I definitely don't want to get comfortable. Ignorance is not a warm blanket to wrap around yourself. When you find it, get rid of it by learning. Dwayne said, that's right, Jay. I love this. I think this is Erica too. I'm going to put it up here. When you were talking about your negative and the negative and positive post, keeping the post clean is key to a powerful functioning. The crowd you keep could affect your trajectory. That's some wisdom right there. Because you were talking about, yes, the negative and the positive we need, but you've seen the batteries when it gets all gunked up, and it's even hard to fix to get the charges on the post because it hadn't been properly taken care of. The environment has affected it. That's what she's talking about. The crowd you keep could affect your trajectory. Check your environment. Where are you showing up? Is it causing wear and tear, or is it causing you to stay polished and clean and ready for what comes your way? Your environment is very, very, very important. So I love this ad. Thank you for that. Ali says, okay, go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say a bit of Coca-Cola will help.
The one place where Coca-Cola is good for us. Let's see. So Ali said, he's talking about Tony Robbins. He will be there for 50 years next year, I think. Also, a point I'd like to raise: don't act like Tony. Be inspired and make it at your own sauce. That's right. There are people that inspire me, and you guys have talked to me about it before, and when my therapist talks to me about it a lot. There's people that I'm really inspired by. I was inspired growing up by Oprah and her story and what she was able to do coming from where she came from. I absolutely love Brene Brown, Tabitha Brown. There are some powerful voices coming from women that I would look at and go, man, that could be me. But in that being me, it has to be me. It can't be a replica of them. Because if I show up and try to mimic what they're doing, I'm doing a disservice to what they've created, and I'm not going to do nearly as good a job. I will never be Oprah. I will never be Brene. But guess what? Oprah and Brene will never be Cassandra either. And I never saw the flip side of that before. And when you know your value and you realize it, it changes how you see things. So, do I want to be on a world stage? Sure. But as Cassandra, not as a replica of any other people that I look up to. They inspired me. They showed me how it could be done. They widened my view, my vision, and allowed me to see things bigger than what I could see in my own environment. They showed me how much bigger the world is and what's possible despite where you start. But I don't want to replicate them. I want to create my own lane and do it how I can do it. That great share, Ali. Thank you for that. Cecilia said, that's so true. Once we get to give and they keep receiving, it gets harder to change their mindset and the consequences are more dire. I think she was talking about back when I was talking about over supporting, over giving, and being at the point where you create dependency instead of independent. And Ali says, and if you're not a bamboo but a cherry tree, it's okay. Exactly. Bloom where you are, as what you are, and don't try to replicate and be somebody else. Cecilia was asking, reciprocity and mutualism are consequences. I don't think so. I don't think that's what she was saying. I think she's talking about, I think that was Erica asking Cecilia this question. But I think she was responding to me talking about teaching someone to fish versus just always feeding them and creating that dependency. And in our relationship there should be some reciprocity in relationships. Not one-on-one, you gave me $1, so you owe me $1. But a real good, healthy relationship, both people are getting something out of it. So that's the reciprocity and mutualism, I believe. And it could be a consequence of, you could see that as a consequence of a healthy relationship. But if the relationship is one-sided and one person is always giving and the other person is always taking, that you should assess whether or not you're in a good, healthy relationship. Ali says we can be authentic and change. People who decide not to change according to what universe expect are slowly but surely dying. And then he echoed unapologetic, and then he says unapologetic. So he worked your name in there, Jay. I think this is Erica saying personal changes are like protocol amendments. We alter to accommodate purpose and to course correct. You better come on with these thoughts this morning. Personal changes are like protocol amendments. So a protocol is how things are supposed to be done. It's the process that you decided that is the most efficient, most effective way to get through whatever process it is you're running, right? But when you learn better, you do better. So your protocol will be amended As you learn, as you go through these processes over and over and over again, as things change and other things become available that may make your protocol more efficient, more effective, you amend the protocol. We alter to accommodate purpose and to course correct. Don't have your head down and be so busy following the course that you never look up around you to see that there's a detour ahead. There's a big manhole and they've got a detour. You've got to take a right to get around this obstruction, and you've got your head down and you're just just plowing along, and before you know it, you've fallen into the hole because you didn't course correct. The big old sign was right there saying detour required. It's going to get you back on track so that you can get where you're going, but you're going to get there in a more unobstructed way. Protocols do get amended because of the learning and because of things that come up, and we course correct. I love that. I think that's Erica as well. All right. And then Ollie says, let the music play no matter what external critics. NOYB, none of your business. I think that's what I said. What other people think of me is none of my business. And Erica says, consistency is ingrained behaviors, ? Ooh, say more about that. That's interesting. Ollie, I will always show myself, chocolate, bite it, or leave it. And then Erica, I think it says judgment or biases is others' ingrained behaviors. Go ahead, Erica. Erica, if you speak, I have a feeling that if you're in conversation with Erica, your brain is spinning on the highest caliber at the highest speed possible just to keep up, because she is firing on all cylinders. Ali said it's better to lose some people than to lose some of yourself. Absolutely. He also says, I can always hear as much as I can because I feel seen with my own vibe. Love to everyone, including myself. And Erica is saying your ideal client should be inclusive of shared experiences. Absolutely. Ali says, love Cassandra like chocolate. J-licious. Can't wait to collaborate more with each of you this year. We are looking forward to it, Ali. He says, intelligence can contain joy and your own gems. Ignorance is painful. Lisa, thank you, Jay Pasqua. Your perspective and scripture reading always hits home for me. And then I think our last comment is from Erica saying, you don't know what you don't know. Continual learning is great inclusive behavior. Absolutely. And that's the beauty of being a part of a collective. And I don't know if you were around over the last week or so, Erica, we were talking about, not in just this space, but in some of the other audio rooms too, we were playing around with like-minded. I always say I don't necessarily need people who, I don't like, when I say like-minded, I'm not saying I want people who think exactly how I think, because that group think isn't going to get me anywhere but more of what I already have. If I'm actually trying to learn and grow, I need other points of view, other perspective. And that's why diversity and being a part of a collective can be so amazing. And so we started saying, some people said like-hearted, and then Brian said, I think it was Brian who said like-valued. So I do want to be around people who have a similar value system to me, because that keeps us connected and moving in the same direction. But how we get there and how our plans unfold and develop can change, because we're each bringing our point of view and our collective experiences to it to help it not be so homogenized that we can only see what we see. And the whole group, everybody's seeing the exact same thing, the exact same point of view, and there's no room for differing opinions. That's how the world has got into some of the worst decisions that have ever been made in our history, that groupthink. So definitely, I love that. Let's see. Ollie, from Wesion to Mesian to decision. Make your own kind of music. Sing your own special song, even if nobody else sings along. Mamas and the papas. Braintastic, on fire. Felice Pasqua, another brother. All right, so that concludes. That's the last of our comments. Well, nope. Cecilia says, it's the real you that craves for knowledge. Knowledge is pertinent growth when you delve deeper into your own personal experience and relieve on acceptance, directing your thoughts to what you're directing your thoughts to what your interests are. Sorry, I lost it for a second because I was pulling it up. It's the real you that craves for knowledge. Knowledge is pertinent growth when you delve deeper into your own personal experience and relieve on acceptance, directing your thoughts to what your interests are. You folks have really been dropping some great thoughts for us today, and we appreciate you being so engaged and sharing so much and enriching today's conversation. Today has been Transformation Tuesday. We're going to wrap it up. It's in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped, is Tony Robbins' quote that got the conversation going. We talked a lot about vision and having a plan for actually creating that vision. I wanted to let you guys know that we do have a vision board event that's coming up next Monday at 6 p.m. Central. It's a virtual vision board. I'll for those of you on YouTube and on Facebook. For those of you on LinkedIn, the comments don't cross over. I'll actually have to go over to my LinkedIn page and drop it. But if you're on LinkedIn and you go to my profile, you will see visit my store. And the one thing in the store is the link to register for the vision board party. So you guys are definitely encouraged to join us next Monday, 6 p.m. Central, where we're going to do a goal setting workshop, give you time and the space to get really, really clear about what it is that you want to accomplish. And then we'll slide into the creative portion of the time that we're going to spend together, where you can actually create your vision board. I have a supply list for those of you who want to create a physical board, which I highly encourage. I've got mine hanging right there. But also I've got a link if you want to create a virtual one. I can walk you through how to do that as well. But the idea is to spend some time really focusing on and getting clear about your goals and the different aspects of your life, and then finding physical representation of those goals and affixing that to your vision board that you can keep with you as a reminder of what you are focused on and working to accomplish at this point in time. So that will be going on next Monday. The links are available. You can also DM any of us if you can't find the links and you want to know how to get registered. We would hope to see you there. Let's see. Ollie said, amazing gymnasium brainstorm session, tsunami of love. Sip in the vision party. And Cecilia says, all of you have helped transform our lives. One comment, one information at a time. I love you all, my LinkedIn family. Peace. Right back to you, Cecilia. And you have helped enrich us as well. And we are so glad that you are here and as engaged as you have been today. And that goes for all of you guys. You have all made this a wonderful Transformation Tuesday. Welcome to 2024, everybody. It's just beginning, but it can be whatever it is that you desire it to be. There will be obstacles. We have to plan for those. We have to know that stuff's going to happen. Life is going to keep lifing. But when you have your eye on the prize, when you're clear about what that prize is and you're working towards something, the obstacles may slow you down. They may cause you to pause. They may cause you to course correct, but they won't make you throw in the towel. So stay with us throughout the rest of 2024. We will be back tomorrow morning, Wake Up Wednesday. We'll be back at 7:15 a.m. Central, and we will be talking about the power of intentionality. Not waking up just physically, but being intentional about the things that you're doing every day to generate the life that you desire. So we will see you back here tomorrow morning, 7:15 a.m. Central for Wake Up Wednesday. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you
See you
for joining
soon.
us for this episode of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We hope that you join us tomorrow for another episode. For advertising or sponsorship questions, reach out to Cassandra or any one of the Fam 5 on their LinkedIn profiles. Have a great day, everyone.